So you guys are here for WordPress training. And I know a couple of you guys asked me yesterday, do I need to attend? And it's like, well, you don't need to attend. But if you're going to be active on your website during this, this time, which we all seem to have some time to be at home and doing things, then working on your website's one of those, we think, very good things to do at the moment. And we are seeing, like we said, a lot more people doing things on their websites and asking for support. So hence our increased training schedule. So I got my bedhead going. I'm proud of it. Thank you very much. And let me bring on a browser and get my screen shared, and we'll get busy. Anybody have some specific questions before we get started that I can write down and make sure we answer? No?
Never used it.
You've never used it, okay. That's not uncommon, by the way. Can you guys see my screen?
We love Arizona.
Anybody know where this is?
Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, it is Arizona, but specifically in Arizona, not to the geo longitude latitude point, but
Sonora Desert.
Looks like the white tanks.
So far, no one's guessed it. I'll give you a couple more seconds to.
Tucson.
Where?
Tucson.
Nope, it's in Phoenix. I'm actually standing in Phoenix city limits as I'm taking that photo. So that is the South Mountain area.
Oh, maybe it's in Levine.
Nope, it's not Levine. It's in South Mountain. Like this area over here you're looking at is Guadalupe/Tempe, and this is the superstitions in the background right there. Got it?
Yeah, it might be the main park entrance then. That's the Mormon on the right-hand side.
Yep, that's the trail that goes down to that parking, the parking lot right there at 48th Street, and you get there 48th Street in Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So this was taken in January this year. So anyway, I am going to get us busy with looking at WordPress. Has anyone used it?
I have, but not recently.
Not recently, okay. So there's a few things I want to cover that, so we get questions around menus, how to change things on my menu. So let me go to what I'm talking about there. And you guys can all see my screen okay, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the menu that I'm talking about, let's see. Can you show how to create a link for a blog on our website? I want to send an email with resources that exist on my website as a blogger page. Yep, great question. Thanks, Vicki.
Thank you.
Yep, we'll get to that. That was actually part of what we'll be talking about. So here's your menu. So this is one of the menus, and some of you guys, most of you have a menu that's down here in what we call communities, or the area where we call communities. This is in your footer. I will cover that today as well. These are recent blog posts. And this is my blog. But one of the things we get asked about is, can I change what's up here? Can I move it around? Am I stuck with what's here? And the answer is, you're not stuck. Yes, you can change it around. Yes, you can change it. You can add to it. You can take away from it. There's lots of things you can do. So you're the keepers of the kingdom, if you will. So let me jump into the menus first. So we're going to talk about menus. We're going to talk about blog posts. We're going to talk about pages, talk about images, we're going to talk about videos, and creating links. Menus, header menu, footer menu. All right. Now I have my list, so I can go down the list and check it off for you guys. Okay, so let's go to let's go. Your guys' screens look a little different than this, doesn't it? Are you guys in your admin? Anybody in the admin?
No, don't have two screens.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So let me in and log back in as an agent. So this is more like what you guys are going to see on your admin. I was in a super admin role, so I had lots of other things available to me. But for now, let's jump into menus. So menus are under appearance, and in appearance, there's widgets and menus. So I'm gonna write down widgets too, because we need to cover that as well. Menus first. So when you get into menus, you want to make sure you're working in the right menu, the correct menu. And so the way you do that is select the menu to edit. And most of you are going to have two menus here, the main menu and communities. If you have an older website with us, you may have a few more, and you might have to play around a little bit to find the right one, which is simple enough to do. You just change the menu, hit select, and then this is your menu, okay? So is my sound okay, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, awesome, okay. So let's go to, because I want you guys to see. Let's just put this up here for now. And put this down here. Okay. So if you notice, I have search, sellers, financing, buyers, blog about, sign in. Search, sellers, financing, buyers, blog about, sign in. Okay. So what I'm looking at on this page is what's in my menu. So if I look under sellers, you'll see why hire us, what's my home worth? And when I why hire us, what's my home worth? Okay, I go back up to search by zip code, and then I have these couple of drop downs, search couple of drops. So this correlates to this. And let's say I just want to do something as simple as moving these two. So what I do is I just grab one of these with my mouse, hold my mouse down, and click and drag and let go. And then save my menu. So these, if I refresh, these are different. And in fact, I moved them. So I was successful at doing that. So let's say I don't like sellers. I want to change the name of sellers. So let's see how to do that. So in this drop down over here on this arrow, navigation label, so I can change this to sell my home. And then I hit save menu. And I refresh this, I refresh my website, and now it says sell my home. So pretty simple, yes? Those types of things. Now, let's say I want to move these two around. So I can just click, drag, and drop. I can move it anywhere else I want. But as soon as when I'm done, I want to hit save menu. And then right now I have under sell my home, I have why hire us and what's my home worth. And when I flip this, now I have it. Okay. So that's how you maneuver things in your menu at kind of a high level. Let's say I wanted to link to my real estate office for whatever reason. Okay. Not something you would typically do, but maybe you want to link to, let's say you're a special website and only servicing Val Vista Lakes, for example. So link directly to their HOA office or something, or you live in Glendale and you want to link to the Glendale government website. So one thing you could do is come in here and do a custom link and hit this down arrow and then put in the custom link. So I am going to just link to iFoundAgent. So you want to iFoundAgent.com. And the text link would be, I'm just going to put in IFA and I add it to the menu. And when you click this, it's like, I added it, but where'd it go? And where it goes to the bottom. Okay, so it's over here at the bottom, which corresponds to it showing up here on the right. So let me save the menu. And then refresh. And there's my IFA tab. And if I click that, I'm actually going to open a tab. And that takes me right to iFoundAgent. So I can put a link in my main menu that goes off my website. I don't recommend that you do this because anytime you off your main menu away from your website, you're actually taking, as the phrase goes, you're taking Google juice away from your website. It's a pretty powerful part of your website, and Google rank the links in here highest on your website because they're in your menu. They're most important. And if you've got something leaving your website from here, it will devalue your website to some degree. So whenever I see this, we have clients that put it in, I encourage them to take it off or find another place to put it. Best way to link to something off your site is to build a page or build a post and then push people from it from there. If you're going to put a link in from there, which is one of the things Vicky had asked about, something like that. So I get rid of this because I don't want it. So if I want to get rid of something, I just come I click that down arrow and I click remove, and now it's gone. I have to save my menu. And then I go back to my website, I refresh, and that link is no longer menu. So I'm good to go there. Okay. Now let's say we want to add a new page, and right now we're getting, we're getting questions about videos and virtual tours and a variety of different things. I want to put a new page on. Somebody just asked this morning about an HOA page, and there was, let's see, there was another request for, let's see, I got a request last night for a home staging page. An agent was starting to offer home staging services and wanted to put in a note about it. So yes, so let's do a new page, and I will do, so I'm gonna bring this back up. Let's jump into doing a new, so pages, add new, oh, any questions with menus? Nope, okay, straightforward. Let's go to the communities menu really quick since we're here. So if I select that, that communities menu was the menu that was in my lower section of my footer. So down here, and if I go look at the menu, there it is. And again, if I want to change it, I just put Chandler after Tempe, save it. Chandler is going to be after Tempe when I refresh. And there it is. So I effectively move that. I can change and put anything in this menu I want. So that's really up to you. If you see a need to change it, feel free. If you get stuck, you can always send an email to the support at iFoundAgent and ask for some assistance. So let's go to pages now. So add new page. So there's two ways to add content to your website. There's pages and posts. Do you guys, I got a good question from someone also. How do we post a PDF to view on a page other than making it an image? Mostly PDFs are downloads and they're a hyperlink. So I'll cover that as we talk about the page. So there's two ways to add content to your website. One is a blog post and one is a page. Anybody want to take a stab at what's the difference?
The page stays static, where the blog post, assuming that you blog, will, you know, not always appear.
Yes, that's a very good shot at, I'm not sure who said that.
Oh, it's Vicky.
Hi, Vicky. Okay, so pages are typically where you set static, like we call them evergreen, very true. You know, when I click on my financing page, I have this page that I built, and it's, you know, the 5 steps of buying a house. And then under buyers, I have getting pre-qualified, and you know, I put in a couple of Arizona lenders in here. Those are pages. Your blog, however, is this particular, so blog can be static information, but where they're found and how they're found changes. Well, it doesn't change how they're found, it just changes how you find them. Let's say it that way. So it's not that they're you know, they specifically change. If I wrote up an article about you know, a restaurant or something, then yes, that potentially, you know, that's always static information, but how I would find it would be different. So blogs are indexed by Google a little bit differently because Google recognizes them as news or as like a news event, and they're generally they pick up on blogs for WordPress WordPress has a tool in it that's a notification service. So when you do a blog post and you publish it on your website, your WordPress site sends it out to some services that then tell the search engines, hey, there's new content on this website, and they send on the link to that specific blog post so that the search engines can come find it. So one of the advantages that WordPress has over other blogging services is WordPress sends out a notice when you put new content on it, okay? So we're putting a new page on. So let's title a page here. Let's say home staging. Let's just do that example that this person's talking about. Home staging tips. And then I come down here and I say, you know, before you sell your home, after you've signed a contract with an agent, you'll likely want to stage your home for sale. Okay, so that's all I'm going to put on here. A good word count, if you guys are wanting to know how many words to write, you'll want to do somewhere in the neighborhood of at least 300. Now, why the word count? So why that many words? You know, this is one sentence and I've got 22 words. So if you think about it, I got to write 10 of these sentences to get 220 words. So the thought here is Google wants to rank this page. So they're going to read this page with their bot, and they're going to determine what this page is about. And part of what they rank it, how they rank it is what's the word density on this page. So if you've written one sentence, Google's looking at this going, well, is this what an expert would write? If Google, you know, another way to think about it is if Google sent a visitor to this page, is a visitor going to be necessarily happy with this kind of a content load based on home staging tips? You know, probably not going to be a very satisfying result for somebody to land on this page. So when you get to 300 words or more, you're starting to get into an area where Google says, okay, this is a legit piece of content, and this person or this page seems to be credible and an expert at what they're writing, and they'll rank it higher than if I just put it in a sentence. I hope that's clear. Is that clear to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, I certainly don't have enough content here to rank or rank very well. If I had a funky, you know, if I did some funky, weird title, and then I had that title keyword down in my article, and I only did a sentence or two, but that, you know, I made up some bizarre keyword, well, I probably will rank for that because no one else is ranking for that bizarre combination of keywords. But that's about the only time that you would rank after over time, you know, is if you made up something weird and you tried to rank for it, but that really no one else is going to search for, but Google did rank you for it. So you'd want to have, you know, again, at least 300 words. We've gone back and forth in the SEO world, 300, 600, more than 600. More is better. And I'm not lobbying for you guys to be writers. I'm not lobbying for you guys to sit down and have to blog post all the time to get your website ranked, because we have some other tools in our system to help you get page content onto your website. and I'll cover that in a second. But for now, this is my content. And now I want to add a photograph. So one of the things that I do is I position my cursor wherever I want to drop in so let's just do a couple of things. So I'm copying this and, oh, I don't want to do that. So I hit this, Control V, and I don't want to link that here. So now I have two, you could imagine this is 2 paragraphs of content. So I want to put a photo in at the beginning of my first paragraph. So I go up to Add Media, click into Add Media, and when this opens, I have my media library that drops in right away, okay? So I can either use what I have in my website already,
Jose's okay.
or I can add files from my computer. Okay, I can do it both ways. So those are the 2 options I have. I'm just going to use a particular image that's already in my website, and I'll use this diving board. So that looks like a good staging picture. And I always change on the right side, this will pop up, and I always change what I want the title of this photo to be. And I always change that to some keyword combination that is related to the title of the page that I'm writing. So I would just put in home staging tips, for example, okay? And then I often put that in up here for the alt text. Caption, I don't worry about too much, but I'll put it in so you guys can see what it looks like. And then I always align things on the right. I don't do a center ever, and I don't do left. And I'll tell you when I show you what this looks like, I'll tell you why I always do right. And I never link to anything. Lots of times you may link to the media file. I would not do that. Select none, and then insert into page. So that's what the caption looks like, okay? Now my photo's on the, why do I put it on the right? Because when I hit that page, I want to start reading. That's what I'm there for. I don't want to have to jump over an image to start reading. So I always had, and I've been trained, I was trained to do this 15 years ago, put images in on the right side so you're not interrupting the reading that you're doing while you're there. You guys, you have the choice. It's up to you. Now, let's say I want to edit this photo while I have it. It's too big, or I want to get rid of I want to get rid of my caption. So I just single click it. And then let's say I want to put it in the center. So the center puts it on the top and pushes all the content down. I think this is more of an ugly presentation personally, but you may like it. And if you put it on the left, there's your picture and everything. Your content will go to the right, and then it'll wrap down below as you write more and more content. Let's say the photo's too little, it's too small. I can grab this corner and make it bigger, or I can make it smaller, okay? So there's a few things that I can do there. If I want to get rid of the caption, and I hit this pencil, and I just come up and delete out the caption, update, and my caption's gone now, and this is stuck there. So I'm good to go with my photo. Now let's say, well, I actually want to put in a video. So videos are asked about quite a bit. So we have this feature here called, this is our YouTube tool for sticking a video in YouTube from YouTube. So you click YouTube, and it opens up this screen, and you want to pick embed a single video. And from here, they're going to ask you to stick in the URL of the video from YouTube. So let me jump out to YouTube. And I go to our YouTube channel, a YouTube channel. And let's get a video. And I want to hit share. And I grab this. I'm going to stop that. I come back into my page and I drop this URL there and I hit submit. And then so embed in the editor, and there's my to embed video. Okay. So let's preview what we've done so far. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I do, Dale.
Yep.
Okay, so when you embed that, I know there's a whole thing about, like, if you, what's the word I'm looking for? In other words, that's going to open in a new page, right? So if that your page stays open, because there's a wrong way to do things. If they click on a link within your page goes away, and we don't ever want to do that, right? Does that make sense? In other words,
this is embedded.
Right, but when they're on your website and they click on it, does it open a new window?
So like that, that's what they're gonna see. And if I click this, it starts the video right there.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind. I got it.
Got it?
Hey,
Yeah.
Dale.
There are ways to embed a video that does a pop-up. We're not doing that.
No, this is fine. Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Okay.
Dale, can you use something other than YouTube, like Vimeo?
Yes, you can. There is a
I asked because my photographer that does all my virtual tours uses Vimeo, and I don't want to have to redo it, if possible.
Yeah, so there is a way to embed Vimeo. You may, that's a support question that I pay guys higher pay grades than myself to answer.
Understand.
But let me just, while we're sitting here, how do folks embed Vimeo vids on their own? All right, let's see what he comes back with. So that's a good question, because people do use Vimeo. People do use Matterport. So there's a couple of different ways to embed those. Or Matterport does that. So let me see what he comes back with on that. So as I get an answer, I'll let you know what he says. But I know there's a way to do it because people do it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's the construction so far. We've got some content in here. We've got a photo. Now we have a video. Let's put in a hyperlink to link to some page somewhere else. So let's just do stage your home for sale. And I want to link this particular clause. So I highlight it, and then I come up to this chain link where it says insert edit link, and I drop in whatever URL I want to add. Right now I have that YouTube video plugged in as a URL. So let's just see what happens if I do this. So again, let's preview. Now I have this stage. So you notice it's now a link because it changes my cursor. So if I change this, or if I click this, now it takes me to YouTube. So that's a different style of implementation, but it took me to this page, okay? So that's how you install a hyperlink. And, you know, in this case, just to get back to my website or get back to that page, I would just hit my back button. But that's how you put in a hyperlink to another location. So who asked about that?
Actually, I was kind of doing it the other way around, where I want to hyperlink back to my own website. Example, I'm writing up information on the mortgage relief. I want to send it out in an email and then have that hyperlink back to my website.
So you want to send an email. Let's just pretend, for example, you wrote a blog post.
Right.
Well, let's do that right now. So let's just do a test blog post. So same type of thing, post. I'm going to open this up in a new page or a new tab. Mortgage relief, right?
Yep.
Kind of like that.
Yep.
So down here, summary of mortgage relief. I'll just do it like that, right?
Right.
So I am going to save this draft because I'm not going to publish this.
Right.
And I'll come back to this in a second. We'll talk a little bit more because there's some more things that need to happen with this to publish it. But now I have a draft, and this is my draft.
And that's your URL.
So I would now go into my email. So here would be my URL if I was actually publishing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I open up my email, bring in a new email, and I say, I want to send this to Dale. There I am. And mortgage relief. Hey, Dale, check it out. Boom, there's my link.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, certain browsers are different ways. You may have to physically make this a link. Some browsers or some email programs automatically convert this to a link. Sometimes you have to make it a link. Let's say I wanted to, let's say I did HTTPS ifoundagent.com. Now that's a case where it's not a link, right? It's just tapped in there. Lots of times you may have to copy this, right click it, and then link, add link. This is just how mine works. Sorry. I'm on a Mac. Other email programs are very similar. Lots of times it's right clicks, and you have this tool up here. Right.
But Dale, would you want to use the permalink, not the address up on the top?
This one? Yeah.
That link, where it says, hey, Dale, check it out. You had pointed out the permalink was different than the.
This is the draft of, because I was doing what I was doing, this is just a draft.
No problem.
But I did copy this as the permalink.
Okay.
Okay. Here, the permalink is here.
Right.
Because I haven't published this yet.
Right.
But that is what that permalink would look like.
Okay.
So you are correct. If that's Gene asking that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are correct. That would be the permalink. And once just for giggles,
and it would be up on the command.
Let's just publish that page. And it would be the same with the post. But here's that permalink. So now if I go look at this page for real, you know, here's that page that we were working on. Now it's published.
Right.
There's my permalink.
Right.
Okay. So yes, you're correct. And then if I go back to my email,
what I hear you saying, Dale, is you can take your permalink and post that in your email.
yeah,
And then that should avoid the many types of email systems.
no, not necessarily, because it depends on how your mailing system handles that link.
Got it.
So I know that if I am, and it depends on what browser you're working in. If I'm working in Firefox, and here's a Firefox link, and if I grab this link, I think I tried this the other day, and I come in here to see, that's not an active link.
Right.
But when I grabbed it out of Chrome, it made it an active link and dropped it right on as a link. So it depends on the mailer program, and it depends on what browser you're using. Typically, you highlight this, right click with your mouse, you're going to get some menu that pops up, and often there is an add hyperlink in there.
Mm-hmm.
So what you typically do is, what I do as a habit is I just copy this. So one thing that I do a lot is I send examples of websites to agents who are looking to become our customer.
Right.
We send those all the time. So I do this quite frequently. So this is exactly what I'll do. I'll have this, I'll copy and paste this in. I'll say it, or I'll copy it. So I copied it with my keyboard, and then I hit link, add link. I paste that in there, hit OK, and boom, there's my hyperlink. Okay.
So you do that on your end to make sure that it's going out as a hyperlink.
Correct. And I do that as a service to that person so that they don't have to figure out how to copy and paste that. Now, sometimes when you put links in an email, it gets stopped by a spam filter.
Mm.
So there's arguments for not putting live links in emails because the Yahoo.com or AOL, they may censor that and stop it before it ever gets to your person. Okay.
Okay.
So it just, you know, it depends. Unfortunately, it's not all uniform. So I'm not going to save that. But did that answer your question?
It did, yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, back to my home staging tips blog post that we're working on. Okay, so this is my blog post. I think no, this was a page. Okay, so I didn't do the post. I'm not going to do the post yet. We haven't published this post. I'm going to come back to the post. So on this page, now one of the things that I want to do is I want this page to be dynamic over time, and which means I want to have this page update itself, because that way this content never gets stale. So one of the things that we teach about blog posts and pages on your website in instances where you can do it, add a home search to it. So one of the ways you can do that, because the home search is always going to put new listings on that page as new listings pop up for the search that you put in. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if I just publish this page's content will never change. And in some senses, Google will look at this, wow, he wrote that 3 years ago, and they may keep it ranked if it's, if my website's really powerful, or they really said, yeah, this is an important page. Like, we don't know, but you know, I want to keep it active with new content. So one of the things that you could do is put a search in here. Well, right now I have home staging tips. That's a pretty bland title. And how many real estate agents across the country do you think have put a page or a post on their website that says home staging tips? Thousands, right? Probably thousands of people have written articles that say home staging tips. So I want to say something like home staging tips for your Chandler home. My website's all about listings in Chandler. So I could change this to home staging tips for your Chandler home or for my Chandler home, right? I could do something like that, which makes this more unique, okay? If I do it up here in this title, I really want to put Chandler down here somewhere. So before you sell your home in Chandler, after you sign a contract, you want to stage your home for sale, okay? Now I've got some keyword similarity from here down to here, okay? Before you sell your home, after you would stage your home for sale, read the following home staging tips.
I have a question, Dale.
Yeah.
So home staging tips for my Chandler home. Do you want that to be in the body of your, you know, down in the body, or that's not important?
The best way is, yep, that goes down here somewhere.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure.
If you don't do that, you want to get very close.
Okay.
Because what you don't want to do is make it look stupid.
Yeah.
Right? Because humans have to read it.
Right.
So often there's this tendency to write things for SEO that look stupid to humans.
Got it.
So you just want to keep your eye on, you know, home staging tips for my Chandler home. That's more of a search term than some other way of saying that. You know, somebody might say home staging tips Chandler home, right? Or home staging tips for Chandler or something.
Mm-hmm.
I just put this like this just to put it, okay? I want it readable, and I want to have some relationship between what's here and what's down here. Because the way these are tied together will help Google rank it.
Got it.
Okay. So I'm going to cover this again and on Friday's class. I don't want to get too hung up in the SEO part of this, so I'm going to stop talking about this part. But I want to now put in a search for Chandler. So the cool thing that we have that you guys may or may not know of is we have this tool right here called the iFound Search Creator. And I can come into here. When I click that button, I have a search tool that is similar to what's found in the campaign builder for those of you who have been working inside the campaign builder. So I just come down here, I can add Chandler, add it. And now I'm going to do a search for Chandler homes. I'm going to leave it at that, but I can do all kinds of different criteria in this tool. I can also draw a polygon if I want. So I can hit this polygon thing, and I can put in a polygon if I wanted to. Notice when I connected the dots, it dropped my polygon in here. If I don't want the polygon, I get rid of it, okay? So I can also change this to put in map view. So what's the map view look like? I can also put in, I can hide pricing stats. I can hide, there's a lot of things I can do. I can also change my message if there's no results. And I can also build what's called a backup query, or a backup search. So if I have one search in here and there's no results, I can substitute a second search so that there's always something showing up. And usually the second search is less restrictive than the first one, okay? But for now, create, save, search. There's my link that gets me my search results, all right? So if you want to edit this, all you do is you highlight it and re-click this tool, okay? Let's update my page since we did publish this page. Let's go out and look at it. So you notice there's my IDX search that I just pushed in, okay? So I've now put in my my search, okay? Any questions about that? Now because this is going to change every day as new properties come in, what we refer to is the content mix, like the word mix, like the how many times, for example, Chandler is mentioned, okay? This page is gonna, the mix of words on here will change, and as Google comes to this page, they'll notice, oh, this page got updated, and they'll essentially re-rank it, all right? So that's, when you can, let's say you do a review of a restaurant, for example, you'd wanna put a little search at the bottom for homes near oregano's in downtown or in Tempe, you know, build a quick polygon around where that oregano's that you're talking about is, and then just drop it on the page. And then your article's about, you know, that oregano's, but there's a search for homes around that oregano's below, okay? So that's how you do a page. Now, if I go to my website, and I'm on my site, I want that site, or I want that page to be visible, because right now it's not visible. So for pages, you have to get them on your website some way. There's two ways to do it. You have to either link to it from another page on your website that's visible, or you have to plug it in somewhere. And most people, when they plug in pages, they plug them into the menu, which is what I'm gonna do. So I go down to Appearance, I go back to my menus, and right here, I have to change back to my main menu because I want to put this on my main menu. And if you look here, typically the default is going to be most recent pages. This is almost always open. And you'll notice I have home staging tips for my Chandler home right there. So I can just click that, add the menu, and boom, there it is. So I don't want this taking up space on my main bar because that'll make it look funny. But let's just, someone on this call, if you start messing with menus, you will do this. But notice how pretty my menu is. And then when I refresh this, now my menu's kind of screwed up. See that? It's kind of screwed up. I just broke my website. We get support tickets like that. I broke my website. Well, that's because of I didn't account for the size of things that I can put in my menu. So if I go back in, I can just come down here, click, drag, and I want to put this up with my seller page, home staging tips for my Chandler home, save menu, go back to my home page, refresh, And if I go to sell my home now, there's my home staging tips for my Chandler home. And boom, there's my page. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, now let's go to this blog post. So I started this blog post. Often we get requests, hey, I've got an off-market listing, or I've got something that's, you know, coming onto the market shortly. I know the rules have changed a bit with how long you can have a listing before, you know, as soon as it's publicly displayed, you got a day to put it in the MLS, something like that. I don't know the exact ruling there, but
Starts on Monday.
What's that?
Starts this coming Monday, April 6th.
So it starts this Monday. So, you know, you have a day once it's publicly displayed, right? Or it's available it's publicly marketed. Is that right?
Right.
Okay. So you have a day to get it into the MLS. So often we get comments about, hey, I want to put a listing on my website. How do I do it? And it's a coming soon listing or something like that. We often tell the agent, put it on as a blog post, because that's the quickest way to get it into the search engines. So if I do something like that, I haven't published this page yet, so I'm going to build a quick page for a search or for a listing. So new listing in Park Promenade, where I live in Chandler. So I would come down here and get rid of this. And I'm just going to put 3 beds, 2 baths, 1861 feet, and nice backyard in Kyrene School District. And let's just leave it like that. Okay, so this is my new listing. I want to put a picture of my house in here. So I go into my add media and I'll scroll down and pick a house. And I'm going to change this to home for sale in Park Promenade in Chandler. Copy this, put it up here, insert into post, line to the right, insert into post. There's my picture. There's my commentary. Let's do I'm going to grab my share link again because I did a virtual tour. So I come back to my post, go to YouTube, single video, drop my video in there, submit, insert into editor, which drops it in here. And I want to put this on my home page. So I'm actually gonna, in this case, I'm gonna attach it to the real estate category and my featured category, which is the category that goes across my home page. I also want to add a featured image because that makes it look nice on my website. So I go back to that same photo. Yeah, which one was it?
3-car.
Okay, I thought that's the one it was, but now we know. So it's this one. I drop that in, set featured image. So I have the same image for both. And I'm ready to post this on my website. So some of you guys may be seeing this and this, and those aren't the same. This will fix itself once I hit publish. So I'm also not going to send this out to my social media because I don't want it to go out. So I changed this to do not post to my social media because this isn't a real listing and not for sale. So I now hit publish. Now notice it fixed my permalink. So if I right click this, go look at it. There's my photo, my specs about the house. There's this. And if I go to my home page, scroll down, new listing in Park Promenade in Chandler, looks nice. I'm happy about it. If I click that, it takes me back to the blog post. And if I go to my blog, there's my blog post. So I have to click that to actually go to the full blog post. Okay?
Yep.
So now notice I didn't have to add that to my menu. I didn't have to link to it. It just got handled through the blogging system and it's already on my website. I don't have to mess with it. So often that's what we talk about with, and now this went to Google. So this just went to Google. Okay. All right, T.O. I know you're all excited, but no one's out there. That's my 90-pound lab Ridgeback chiming in.
Gail,
Okay.
if you wanted to, let's say it's an active listing, it's in the MLS. There's so many of these crazy systems out there for, text to. A lot of times people will just put the address of the property in. If you put the address of the property in instead of new listing in Park Promenade, the actual address.
Yep.
Would it find you as opposed to Zillow or other systems that you can type into?
Yeah, you would have an opportunity, especially if you had a day advance. It's hard to beat Zillow because Zillow, the chances of a house not have ever been for sale and not be in Zillow are fairly slim. I think there are properties that have never been for sale that have never gotten into the Zillow database from a sales perspective. So you may have a tough time ranking. But yes, if you were able to put a blog post in your site first before, and we used to teach this, hey, you get a new listing, before you give it to the MLS, do a blog post about it. And do that 24 hours before you give it to the MLS. That gives your website a chance, at least it gives it a chance to get ranked by Google.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're active on your website and you're constantly putting some content in, you're constantly working, not constantly, but a couple times a week, if you're doing stuff like that, the likelihood that Google will pick up on that is better than not if you're not doing much. So if you touch your website once a year, Google probably won't come look at your website, even though you said, hey, there's new content here. Okay? Google has to be trained to come to your website, and the only way they're going to get trained is if you start doing some things in your website. Okay? Now, some of you guys, I know there's people who are on this call who are saying, look, I don't want to be writing content. I don't want to be writing blog posts. I don't have time. Even now, I don't have time. There are people like that. That's why we built the campaign builder system, so that as you're using your website with your clients sending out. So if I pop over into my campaign builder and I'm using this tool, and let's say I have let's say I did something called new listing in Park Promenade in Chandler. I could actually create a blog post here and send out a blog post this way as I'm working with a client or I'm working with a homeowner to set up a search for them around their house. Actually, this is probably not a great idea. This would be homes sold and for sale in Park Promenade. Okay, so I can do this blog post in a very short period of time. Here's my featured image. I come back in here. There's a house. Boom, I pop that in. There's my house. I have my featured image. I'm sending this to Buffer. I'm creating this blog post. And all I did was put a title in. Sorry, a title. I can put a little content in here. Great. In Chandler, near Intel, period. Okay, I can put a little content in here and publish it. So now in the time that I'm working with my client, I can also put a blog post in. So there's two ways to put a blog post in. This one takes a little bit more time. This is a little bit more of a formal blog post because I've got an image, I've got a video, got some specs. You know, I'm doing this in a different way than what I'm doing through my campaign builder. But I have a way to put content in both ways, okay? So if you're busy and you're working with the client in the campaign builder, build a blog post if it's appropriate. And I've covered this in trainings on the campaign builder and other classes. So anyway, I just wanted to give you an example of two ways to create a blog post since we're talking about WordPress. Any questions about blog posts?
Get in and do them.
What's that?
You have to get in and do them.
You got to get in and do them if you want to do them. You know, do you ever have to go in and create a blog? Like, you know, what are some other reasons to do a blog post? Let's say I don't have a client that I'm working with or a customer or a contact, and I haven't had anybody all week, and I know I want to get a blog post in. Well, if you're a DC Ranch person, you could come in and create a blog post about something in DC Ranch and drop a search in. Now I've put in something that helps my website because I'm a DC Ranch agent or a North Scottsdale. In this case, this website's about Chandler. So I'm going to publish things about Chandler. So I could come in here and build a search about a dog park in Chandler or the mall and put, polygon around the mall and show listings around the Chandler Fashion Center Mall. So lots of different reasons to put in blog posts and drop in a search. Any questions about this? So I've done menus, blog post pages, we covered images, videos, creating links, widgets. What are widgets? Anybody want to guess what widgets are?
No clue.
No clue. Okay, widgets. So let's look at widgets for a sec. If I go to, let's see. Okay, so this is a widget area or a widget. So this quick search is a widget. So a widget is a piece of functionality stuck in your website to do a specific thing. So this is a widget here, or you could say this is a widget area and I've stuck some functionality in there. This is another widget area that I've stuck an image here that's an advertisement for, this is my brother, that goes to his page on his Loan Depot website. This is a widget for getting to my search blogs or for my blogs. Same thing, I have a widget for latest posts. So if I go to widgets and that particular area, sorry, this area is called my primary sidebar. You guys all have a primary sidebar. So if I come in here and I look for primary sidebar, there's my primary sidebar. I found quick search. I found mobile search nearby, text. So this text is that Loan Depot thing. So I just grabbed this text widget and I said, look, I want to put a new text widget in my primary sidebar. So I add the widget and then I could call it Hello, Catherine, saying hi. Okay, I save this. And if I go back to, if I go back to my blog and I refresh my page and I scroll to the bottom, there's the widget I just put in. Hello, Catherine, saying hello or saying hi. Okay, that was pretty simple. Now let's say there's my text area that's the new widget I put in. Let's say I want to put it at the top. So I just click and drag it and move it up here to the top of my area. And then I come back, switch, and go back to the top, and now it's at the top. So widgets are powerful for adding new functions inside your website. A very common widget that we get asked about, I'm going to actually get rid of this. So I'm going to get rid of this hello, Catherine. Sorry, Catherine, but I'm deleting you. Now, if I refresh, Catherine's gone, all things back to normal. But let's talk about a very common one you guys ask about is featured listings. People want to change up featured listings. And this is going to be the last thing I cover for today. Okay, featured listings. So when I go into my, and again, this is kind of featured listings. Okay. And then I come over to my featured listings. All right. So the way that I get to my featured listings is I go to I found settings, featured listings, and then I open up this, there's this tool that opens up. And there's a lot of yuckity yuck in here. Here, featured listings, I could change this to featured homes, and I'll change that in a second, okay? Now, the featured query is what I'm asking to display in my featured listings area, okay? If there's no results for this featured query or this featured search, we allow for a backup search. So if you're an agent and you have no listings, you could put your agent ID, we could build an agent search for you. And then if you have no listings, then we can show your brokerage listings. That's one way to do it, okay? I personally think that a great way for featured listings is you're showing your farming area or your primary area that you want to drive people around in, okay? Mine, I'm doing properties in 85226. That's where I live. That's where I want to put people in my car and show them houses. That's what I have going through my website. Okay. Now we have a tool. And let me find the tool. Hold on. Because you guys are going to want this tool. If you're going to change this, we do have this in our knowledge base, but here's the tool that we use to build that to build a query for to build a search for. So this is in the knowledge base. So if you want to do, if you want to search the knowledge base, it's in the marketing platform and IDX plugin area, and you would just do a search for featured listing, and you'd come up with this page. And this video tells you how to use the tool below. So, for example, I am doing zip code. I put in 85226. I'm going to do latest listings, so newest listings, and I can do different sorts. Okay. I'm going to do latest listings. So I want to do latest houses on the market or latest changed houses. And I'm doing active listings only. And then it's generate query, which is generate search. And notice it says zip 85226. And if I go back to my featured query, it says zip 85226. So I would just copy and paste. Here it says copy result. So it's copying this, and it says copy to clipboard. So then if I go to here, delete this out, and then I paste that in, boom, it's right there. So very simple to change your featured listings on your page. Now, I'm going to scroll down here and hit save changes. And I go back to my home page. And I scroll down to, notice this used to say featured community or featured listings. I changed it to say featured homes. Okay. Any questions about that?
And that's accessing the MLS as a whole.
Exactly. Yeah.
But we
This is
could
just
do
like building a search in the advanced search or the quick search or in the campaign builder.
Okay, got it.
Or on a page or a post. Okay. Now, anybody want to get real geeky?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to show you some. I'm not going to go into detail on this, but we have a new tool that we haven't really talked about yet. But if I go into pages, anybody farm an area?
Yes.
What's your area that you farm?
It's FQ Story. It's a little tricky if you don't use a map, though.
Yeah, but that's a historic district downtown.
Yeah, it's a historic district. It's where I live.
Okay, so and you know where Willow is, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's do FQ Story and Willow.
Okay.
And Vicki, do you have maps? Do you have maps of historic districts on your website?
I do. Yeah, I have. You guys built me these wonderful interactive maps.
Okay, what's your web address? Actually, let me stop. Everybody who's on the call, this is going to get a little geeky. The main part of the WordPress call is over. If you guys want to stick around and watch this, this is a fun new tool we have. I won't stick into it too long, but what's your website, Vicki?
It's downtownphoenixliving.com.
So downtownphoenixliving.com and the Phoenix Historic District maps. So we have this tool here, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't have them all on there, do you?
Everything should be on there. Looks like a couple are missing though. Not sure why.
Yeah, because in Canto and
Yeah, we'll have to see what's happened.
okay. So let's say I want to build something like this. You can actually build this on your own now. So let's do something real quick and dirty. All right. I'm going to build it on my website real fast. So I know that I want to do FQ story.
Yeah,
And I
Will
want to do,
here, FQ stories missing.
well, we need to get that back into play. So if I go into my site and I know that, so the strategy of setting this up is I want a search page for FQ story. I want a search page for Willow.
Yes.
So I come into pages and I, you know what? I'm not going to do this now. Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, it's fairly complicated, I understand.
It's actually a lot less complicated because we created a new tool for it.
Uh-huh.
So it's this tool here. So it's this map maker.
Uh-huh.
So when I mouse over this, I now have this tool. So I have polygons and points of interest.
Okay.
So let's just say, let's just zoom in a little bit to Phoenix. So where is FQ stories here, right?
Yes. So it's
Okay.
7th Avenue to 17th Avenue, McDowell to Roosevelt, just to keep it simple.
Like
Not exactly.
right here, right?
Yes.
McDowell to where?
McDowell to Roosevelt.
South of the freeway.
South
Yeah.
of the freeway.
Oh, down here. Got
Yeah.
it. So we're looking at McDowell. So it's this square, basically.
You can use that. I mean, it's only for demonstration purposes.
Oh, 7th to 19th Avenue is down here.
It only goes to 17th Avenue, and
Oh.
below the freeway, it goes to 15th Avenue. So it jogs a bit.
So it's like, all right. So if I do this, so here's my polygon tool. So kind of like this to there, over to 7th, up and over.
Well, close enough.
All right. So now I can call this FQ story. And so here's where you already have to have the page for FQ story built on your site because I'm going to link to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I already have it built, I can just select it in my list of pages.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's just pick one. Phoenix Historic Homes near Encanto Park. I don't think I have FQ story in here. I may though.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just call it Willow Homes for Sale. Okay. And I save it. What's that?
Don't publish it.
No. So actually it didn't do what I wanted it to do. So anyway, this is the beginnings of it. I don't know why that didn't save. So save map. Yeah, that didn't work at all. So I'm not ready to show this to you, apparently.
Okay.
That's okay. It's kind of in its beta right now.
Well, it was working because I've built a few pages with it already.
Well, let me interrupt real quick because
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere because I find this very interesting. I like geeky. So, do you have to build a map and then go grab it, or is this creating a map?
So this is going to create a map that looks something like this.
Except I don't understand why there's a whole bunch of pieces missing, but I'll go figure it out with.
Well, that's a different question, but that has nothing to do with the map. That has nothing to do with what I was showing.
Right.
My question to you, Dale, is I guess what threw me off was when you went and searched for the name.
Oh, so in the tool itself, so when I create this, and let's just draw a quick polygon.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then I call this, test search. And then I link to a particular page, okay? And then I click save. Oh, that worked. Okay. Now, when I save this map, so, okay, I don't know why it wasn't working. That just worked, right?
Right.
So that polygon is the polygon that I just drew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the way I really want to do this is, and it is a little bit contrived. It does take a little bit of work, but it's not the same work that we used to do. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
so you're linking, you build the map and then you link it to a page.
But you have to build the page first, you said.
you got to
Right.
build the page first.
Or I just go find one that's kind of a generic one in there.
Well, yeah, but it depends on what you're doing. Like if she's got historic districts. So in my case, let me find this particular page that I want to show you guys.
I get the gist of it. I mean, this is helpful. I'm not that
So
freaked out.
pickle, pickle homes near pickleball courts in Scottsdale.
Hey, you'd be surprised. It's a thing.
Hey, this is you'll see what I've done.
Okay, so there's no real content in there in terms of talking. It's just maps.
This is a map. Yep. Now
Yeah.
I could put I could put content.
I got it.
Below is a blah 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 blah.
Got
So I built this landing page for a customer of ours who basically she's a pickleball person, and she wants to sell homes around pickleball courts. So
Okay.
it's her niche. Okay. So basically what we did is we went into her site and we created a search page for Desert Mountain. Okay. So this particular installation was all of the listings or all of the subdivisions in Desert Mountain. But in the case of, let's say, Winfield, which has just one large,
Whoops.
I don't have that page on my website. Hang on. Estancia. There we go. So if I scroll down,
Smaller.
doggone it, I'm trying to pick one that just goes straight to a search page, which is the example I'm trying to show you. And I know Desert Ridge doesn't do it. Victorium.
Yeah, that's a small area.
So there, Victorium, this was a polygon we drew. And we drew it in this area. So this page we created first, saved it. We had the search built, saved it. And then when we went into the map and we did our, we did our thing.
Yep.
In here, when we created that and we had the drop down list. Okay, remember?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's making sense. I'm following you.
Come on.
It's chasing you around.
Well, there's a couple of reasons why that could be happening right now. So, okay, there, it's stuck. So if I go back into my map, and let's say I wanted to create a new one. I'm gonna get rid of this one. But let's say I create a new one. That pickleball court page would be in here, right? It's not on here because I don't have it created inside this website. I just created the main base landing page and then we plugged that into her site.
Right.
Because the code was exactly the same.
I got it.
Okay. But I would have had pickleball courts in here if, if I was, so that's, it's a little bit of a process, but it's fun to do, especially if you're doing a specific niche that you're wanting to highlight and then log around and do different things with. I will look into yours, Vicky, and figure out why some of those things are not working. Okay.
I just opened it on my phone, Dale, and they look to all be there. So
It could be my connection and things aren't loading correctly right now.
Right. That might be the case because I mean I'm in and out of my site fairly often. So I think I would have seen it. I'll check it, but I see it on my phone. Okay.
Okay. And
it looks like things are here.
It could be
and all the labels are there. Del Norte and Canto Palmcroft.
Okay. I'm not seeing it for whatever reason, and that's okay.
Okay. I'll check it when I get off the computer too, but it looks fine on my phone.
Okay.
Thank you. This was really
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm going to sign off at this point. Hopefully that was a helpful session.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was helpful for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
great.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys. If you guys are going to be here tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow and or Friday.
Okay. Thank you, Dale.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.